It is 50,000 years ago, and you are trying to sleep on a pile of grass. There is no door to lock, no wall around you, and no light beyond a small fire. Then you hear something moving in the darkness. It could be the wind. It could also be a lion waiting for the fire to die. You close your eyes anyway. So how did ancient humans sleep every night without becoming dinner? The answer involved fire, carefully chosen sleeping places, homemade insect protection, and a natural security system that scientists still study today. But before any of that could work, ancient people had to solve the most dangerous part of bedtime: where to lie down. A flat area beside a river might seem perfect. Water is close, the ground is soft, and the view is probably nice. The problem is that every animal nearby has the same idea. Lions, hyenas, elephants, and other animals often follow regular paths to water. Sleeping beside one of those paths would be like placing your bed in the middle of a highway and hoping traffic notices you. Ancient humans had to read the land before setting up camp. They looked for footprints, claw marks, animal droppings, broken branches, and narrow paths through the grass. These signs told them which animals had recently passed through the area. They also searched for higher ground that would not flood, open spaces where danger could be seen, or rock shelters that blocked wind and rain. A good sleeping place needed to be close to food and water, but not so close that the entire animal kingdom walked through it at midnight. Caves could be useful because they provided a roof and protected the camp from one side. But caves were not empty hotel rooms waiting for humans to arrive. Bears, big cats, snakes, and other animals liked them too. Before entering, people probably checked for bones, tracks, fur, droppings, and strong smells. Walking into a dark cave while holding a burning branch and finding a sleeping bear would be a very quick way to learn that the room was already booked. Once the group found a safer place, fire became the center of the camp. It gave them warmth and light, helped them cook food, and allowed them to see movement nearby. Smoke may also have pushed away some insects. Many wild animals are careful around an active fire, especially when several humans are moving, talking, and adding wood. But fire was not a magical shield. A hungry lion would not see one small flame and think, "These people have discovered technology, I should respect their personal space." The fire had to stay strong, someone had to add wood, and the group needed to notice when it began to fade. A dying flame offered far less protection, especially if everyone around it was deeply asleep. This is where the group became more important than the fire itself. Ancient humans slept close together. Children and more vulnerable people could stay near the center, while adults remained around the outside. Spears, clubs, stones, and other tools could be kept nearby. If one person heard movement, everyone could wake up quickly. That made the camp a difficult target. Predators usually prefer an easy meal, something alone, weak, injured, or unable to fight back. A large group of humans was none of those things. It had fire, weapons, loud voices, flying rocks, and several adults who were probably not happy about being woken up. Even a lion has to think about risk. Ancient people may not have created official guard schedules every night. They probably did not sit around the fire and say, "Kevin, you are working from midnight until 2?" They may not have needed to, because people naturally sleep at different times. Some people fall asleep early. Others stay awake late. Older adults may wake before sunrise. Parents wake when children move. And babies wake whenever they decide the entire group has enjoyed enough peace. These different sleep patterns may have created a natural watch system. Researchers studying the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer community in Tanzania, found that different people woke at different times during the night. The whole group was almost never asleep at exactly the same moment. That meant someone was usually moving, listening, checking the fire, or caring for a child. One person might hear footsteps, notice a strange smell, or see movement before an animal reached the camp. So the person in your family who wakes up at 4:30 every morning may not be strange. They may simply be running very old security software. Ancient humans also put more effort into their beds than we might expect. They did not always lie directly on cold dirt and hope for the best. At Border Cave in South Africa, researchers found evidence that people prepared grass bedding around 200,000 years ago. They collected plants and placed them in layers to create a softer and warmer place to sleep. Some of the grass was placed over ash. The ash may have made it harder for crawling insects to move through the bedding. People also appear to have burned old bedding, possibly to clean the area and remove pests. In other words, humans were making beds long before bedrooms existed. Somewhere in prehistory, a tired parent was probably saying, "I told you to replace the grass," while a child pretended not to hear. Fresh plants, smoke, and ash may also have reduced the number of insects near the sleeping area. That mattered because the smallest nighttime dangers could sometimes be worse than the largest ones. A lion is frightening, but at least you can see it. Mosquitoes, fleas, ticks, and lice can bite quietly and spread disease without anyone noticing. Ancient people may not have understood germs, but they could notice that some sleeping areas caused fewer bites than others. Over time, people also became better at building shelters. They made walls from branches, stretched animal skins over wooden frames, and used rock walls as part of the structure. In colder places, smaller shelters helped hold warm air. In wet areas, roofs kept rain away. The entrance could be positioned so the group could see anyone or anything approaching. These shelters were not comfortable by modern standards. Nobody was writing a one-star review because the cave was noisy and breakfast arrived late. The goal was not luxury. The goal was to stay warm, dry, protected, and close to the group. Even with shelters, fire, and weapons, ancient sleep was probably often broken. A fire might weaken, a baby might cry. Rain could enter the shelter, an animal could move nearby, or someone might hear a sound that needed to be checked. People probably woke several times, added wood, looked around, moved closer to one another, and then returned to sleep. That may have felt completely normal. They did not have a glowing clock beside the bed, announcing that they now had exactly 3 hours and 27 minutes before school or work. They rested when conditions allowed it. They woke when something needed attention. Then they rested again. We should also remember that ancient humans were not helpless animals hiding from everything with teeth. They were hunters too. They understood animal behavior, carried weapons, and knew how to work together. One person alone could be vulnerable, but a group of humans with fire, stones, spears, and a plan was dangerous. A lion was stronger than one human. It was faster, heavier, and had much better teeth. But a lion facing 20 humans had a serious decision to make. Even if it attacked successfully, it could be injured. For a wild predator, a broken leg or damaged eye could mean death later. Attacking a large human group was often not worth the risk. This is how all the smaller protections worked together. Ancient people chose safer ground, watched animal movement, built shelters, prepared bedding, controlled fire, kept weapons nearby, and slept close together. None of these ideas was perfect by itself, but together they made the camp much harder to approach. Their greatest protection, however, was not the cave, the fire, or the spear. It was each other. Ancient humans were not the strongest animals in the world, they were not the fastest, and they did not have the largest teeth or sharpest claws. What they had was the ability to cooperate. They warned one another. They protected children. They cared for injured people. They shared food, watched the fire, and faced danger together. Today, our caves have become houses. Fire has become electric light and heating. Warning calls have become alarms, locks, and cameras. Grass beds have become mattresses that somehow cost more than a used car. But the most important part of the system has not changed. People are safer when they look after one another. So tonight, when you lie down in a warm bed behind a locked door, think about the people who gathered beside ancient fires thousands of years ago. Beyond the light were storms, insects, cold weather, and animals waiting in the darkness. Yet those people closed their eyes because they trusted the group around them. Someone was listening. Someone was keeping the fire alive. Someone was protecting the children. No one had to face the darkness alone. And that may be the real reason humans are still here. Our greatest strength was never our speed, our teeth, or even our weapons. It was our ability to stay together,